I'm going to start off with bringing in my soil. So how do we do that? Well, I'm going to draw a rectangle. And I have this little sheet legend here so we don't overlap profiles in different drawings. Here's my little twist angle line. So I just really wanted to bring in that site because I want to pull in this rectangular area. I'm going to unload my XREF. Got a little XREF dialog. And then I'm going to type in map W space and turn that on. All right, so this is the Civil 3D map tool pane, and I've noticed here if you start a brand new drawing, you can see it's sort of, these should have items under it. Just like a lot of other things in this program, if you do a revert, which closes and opens the drawing, then they show up. So you might have to do that, depends how it feels that day. Another thing I need to do is I'm going to bring in my soils data for some GIS. I need to set my coordinate system in my current drawing. So I'm going to right click on the top level here where it says current drawing and hit set coordinate system. Notice I'm under the map explorer tab. You can search for your area. Here you go down to Pennsylvania, USA, Pennsylvania, and then you'd choose if you're in the south or the north zone. So we're in PA 83 south feet. So make sure you choose the appropriate units here, US foot, not meters, US foot, very important. Hit OK. So typically it's going to be PA 83 SF or it's going to be PA 83 NF for us. Usually we're using feet and we're either in the north or the south part of the state. We're usually on NAD 83. If you memorize that, you just type that in there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my soils drawings from our W drive. So I'm going to right click on drawings here, hit attach, go to my W drive, go to PA maps, or AutoCAD maps, I'm sorry, AutoCAD maps, GIS project, DWG, and under here, the county I'm in is Berks. So I'm going to look for this UTM 83. Really, I'm looking for soils Berks. I'm going to hit add and hit OK. So that attaches that drawing. Really don't see anything happen on the screen here. It's almost like bringing in a data reference. It's in here for data's sake. It's not, doesn't bring anything. It doesn't load an XREF. It doesn't see an image or anything like that. The next part I want to do is query in some objects from that map. So I'm going to double click on current query. If there's anything in here, this location, just hit delete. We want to clear that out and hit location down here again. I'm going to do window. You can do circle, whatever you'd like, and a crossing window. Hit define, and sorry, do the end here to here. And then I'm going to hit the draw, not preview or report, draw. Hit execute query. And that's going to bring all the soils in from that are inside or across this square. Okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is I want to pull off or extract the data out of these lines because they're more than just polylines. If you look in your AutoCAD properties dialog here, you can see it has the soil type associated with the polyline. It's called object data and it's attached to the polyline describing what that soil type is within that area. So I need that to be sort of sucked off of that polyline and put into a little symbol or whatnot in the middle of each area. So I'm going to go up to my Civil 3D pull down here, go to Map, Tools, and hit Create Centroids. It's asking me all the objects. Really, I'm going to hit Select It Only. I'm going to come to this QSelect dialog, hit Layer, and tell it to operate on all the objects on my 00 soils layer. Okay, tire drawing, multiple layer soils. Hit OK. It's asking me where do I want to put these little centroids, and you'll understand what these are here in a second. I'm going to put those on my 00 soils centroid layer, and hit OK. And you'll say, I didn't see anything happen. Well, it put in AutoCAD nodes. So PD mode, is the command, and you want to change that AutoCAD variable to 2. So now you can see these big great crosses on your drawing. I can use PD size, and I can set that to different values, maybe 20, and then that will do a percentage or a hard-coded value of my screen. If I have the PD size set to 0, when I zoom in and hit regen, they'll get smaller. If I zoom out, they'll get bigger. To make these a little easier to see, I do want to adjust my layer, and I'm going to change that 0 soils centroid layer and make that yellow. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I need to bring these soils into my little area here. So what I need to do is sort of refine these soils, and this is a very difficult part of this procedure. This is where people get bound up. That little message, I need to detach my map from the W drive. So I figured out a way or a workflow to do this as easy as possible, and let me show you what the next step would be. These little dots I need to move in to be inside of my rectangular area. But it's not that straightforward, because some of these dots, like this one, actually has to be here and here, because you can see that boundary comes in. There's areas inside on either side. It's actually up here as well. So you have to go around the entire perimeter and do that. And really what you get messed up with is when I click this polyline now, since I ran that centroids command, create centroids, it doesn't have any more object data assigned to it. So how do I do this efficiently? Well, I can come up to my display manager, hit data, connect to data, and I can connect to the physical shape file that this read to bring these soils in. So I'm going to call this Burke's Soils. And this is sort of a little workaround, but it seems to work pretty well for me. And I'm going to go down to my W drive, and I'm going to go under Certified Soils, and then hit Berks County here. Go into my Soils PA 1101 and Spatial, State Plane NAD 83, and then which file do I connect to? Well, I hit Details, and I look for the biggest file. Click that. Hit Connect. And then I need to, again, it just connects to it. It doesn't bring anything in or just connects to it for data's sake. I need to actually add that to my map. So I'm going to hit Add to Map. And now you'll see the entire county of soils. So that's great, right? But how does that still help me? Well, I can grab the whole thing and set it to the back, and now I can see my areas here, but it's still very cluttered. And how do I navigate all this? Well, you can come up to this. Notice I'm under Display Manager. I can come up to this and hit Edit Style. Once I pull up the Edit Style, I can come to this little ellipsis down here under Style. And I can change it from green to any color I want. So I'm going to change that to black. And I'm going to set my opacity or transparency to 90%. And hit OK. And close this dialog here. And now you can see that, no, now you can't see that map anymore, right? You can't see that soils map. But what I get here that's very unique is that if I click in any given area, it still highlights the whole boundary. Really, when I'm clicking that, I'm clicking this object. So still, how does that help me? Well, I can right-click on this now and hit Show Data Table. And I can bring this little table and minimize it up. And whatever area I click on, you can see it highlights the row. And it shows me BKB. This area is BKC. This area is BKB. Again, another one, BKC, a lot of BKBs and BKCs. This one will be different. BTA, so on and so forth. Well, now it gives me like a little legend. So if I'm confused about an area, so I can bring, some of these are straightforward. But for example, this one, I need to put a little triangle in here. Which one? Well, if I click on that symbol there, you can see, oh, okay, well, it's this one. So I can just copy these little nodes, into there. And this takes a little time. You got to go around. You can see I can take this one up here. Okay, it has to be there. I need to copy this little node also up into here and also down into here. And I can also verify, like, okay, that says BKB. All right, well, let's pull my AutoCAD properties dialog. Let's lock this open. And when I click on the little node object out here, that says BKB as well. Okay, well, that's good. That's important that they match. I can bring this up here as well. Bring this up. You can see this is a big old long one, and actually the node formed all the way down here. So we can bring that up. And so on and so forth. So take this one, bring this in. Take this one, bring this in. And you just keep going around. You know when you're done? When all these yellow nodes are inside this red square. Okay? Have to be inside of it. So I'm not going to go through and do that. It would take another probably 10 minutes for me to do that. I'm just going to erase this. You can turn that, if that map thing gets in your way, because you can see it's all out here and everything, you can just uncheck it. And then that's sort of turned off. Now I can't do that anymore. I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to insert in one that I had done already. Soils with issues, good. Okay, so what I did there is I brought in, I moved all these nodes in, and then I used a command called map trim. I should have showed that. Map trim. And then with the map trim command, what I did is I hit select boundary, and I selected that outer triangle. Then I hit automatic. I hit filter selected objects. I said layer. I said, oh, you're only going to trim out my soils layer here. I would hit outside boundary and uncheck these two. And then I hit OK. And what that did, so you can refer back to this video if you want to see that. Apologize, I skipped forward a little bit too much there. That trimmed out all my soils outside of that red square. So you end up having what I have here. The next thing you need to do is you need to clean these soils up a little bit. So I'm going to type another command called map clean. And this is just a workflow process. Watch the video to follow again or replicate it. And this map clean will actually, when these soils are brought in, they're closed polylines, and they're overlapping each other on the edges. And very similar, and it's not coincidence, very similar to Civil 3D parcels. You cannot have overlapping lines on the boundary. Like this boundary line here cannot have, a polyline for this enclosed area and then another one to outline the enclosed area over here. You can't have that. It has to be its own independent line. So there's only one line here, very similar to a parcel. Parcels are like that because parcels in the background are AutoCAD map topologies. So I'm going to use my map clean, and I'm going to hit load here. And I'm going to browse out to my R templates topologies directory. So everybody should have this. Go ahead and do that and hit create topology, 1 foot tolerance. Hit OK. I'm going to say, well, what layer do I want it to act on? Well, again, seeing a pattern here, I only want it to act on my 0 soils layer. That's essentially it. Just there's a bunch of settings here, but they're set with that load. Just hit finished, and it will go through and have like a gazillion errors. It will create a whole bunch of objects and delete a whole bunch, and you just need to keep running that. All right? And you just keep running it and running it and running it, and hopefully you'll get to a spot that says 0, 0, 0, right? In this drawing, that's why I loaded this, because it's a little problematic. This still has issues with it. So I have, really to make a topology of this, I need this to say 0, 0, 0. Why doesn't it say that? How do I know where to go? Well, I'm going to let the error checking for creating of topologies to show me that. Another question here. To write the manual, what else? Okay, yeah, good point, Karen. I'll make sure to cover that. There's also a whole process Karen Griffin in our Lancaster office wrote up on how to do this whole process, and I'll highlight that at the end here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to create a topology of it, see what happens. So I'm going to go over to my Map Explorer task pane here, go down to Topologies, right-click on it, hit Create. We'll call this Soils, right? And that's important. You can't call it whatever you want. It needs to be called Soils. Don't deviate. Soils. And links. The links are, there's a little terminology thing here. The links are essentially the line work. So links, select all objects on my zero soils layer. I'm going to skip all the way down here to select centroids. You can skip the node part. Centroids are these little yellow dots. We put those on our zero soils centroid layer. Okay? And I always have to remember, and do not forget this, this is very important, to always come in here and uncheck create missing centroids. You don't want it to do that. Hit finished. And you can see intersection detected, cannot create polygon topology. Hit close. So I get a little circle. And what's happening over here is if I'm zooming way in, there is a little piece of another soil that I didn't see and don't have a centroid in it. It's so small, I don't care about it. I'm just going to erase that little area and bring this polygon up to the top here. And why it didn't clean that up properly is because that little piece was less than a foot in length. You can see when I did a distance command there, we're talking about a very little bitty area here. So even if I did add that, that's going to really have no effect on my drainage characteristics. It's probably even the same soil group anyways. So go back, and I'm going to run my map. So if I change any line work, if I edit any line work whatsoever, I have to do map clean again. Now it's real simple because it saves all the settings, so you just type map clean and hit finish. And now you can see I get 0, 0, 0. What I want. So now I'm good to make a topology. Right click on here, hit create topology, saves all the settings here, but you always have to remember to go down to create new centroids and uncheck the create missing centroid. Everything else it saves. You can see the centroid layer it saves, the link layer it has in there still. Hit finished, and I still have problems. So what's my issue now? Well, you can't have multiple centroids in the same area. See this area through here? And I can go back and use my handy-dandy highlighter here. I have this one area. This is a certain soil type, probably a creek coming down through here or something. And I have a centroid here and here. Well, that's no good. Let's bring up our data table again. We're going to use this. And what is this soil? Well, it's a BTA soil type. Well, this centroid is BTA, and probably the other one as well. You know, I made a mistake. I copied a centroid too many times. So all I need to do is erase one of those. This centroid, you can see this soil type is a perimeter and surrounds a 1 inside of it. So when it made the centroid, it actually didn't place it in the area it needs to be. So I'm going to take this and move this out here. And in this situation, well, I'll let that go. I'll let that come up again. So that one looks okay. You can see I missed an entire soil type here. So what soil type is that? Well, I missed bringing extra copy down. So I'm going to copy that one up here. Bring it down to here. Okay? And that one's that one. And then we don't know why that's happening there. So why is this one here? Everything looks okay. Well, it's again this whole big surrounded area. Actually put a centroid, and if you hit the move command and move one of these, they're actually 2 on top of each other. So which one's right? Well, I'm going to click on this soil type. This is supposed to be WED. I'll click on that little centroid there. That is a BKC. That is not what we want. So I'm going to erase that one. Double check, make sure this is a WED. Yes, it is. All right, and then up here, again, missed another one. So it's actually the same as this down here. Copy this, place it up here. And then skipped ahead. I use that example, but this one had that same problem with the two centroids. CPA, it's probably this one. Nope. So that's the one I want to erase there. All right, so let's try it again. Let's make a topologies. Create. Go down and create new centroids. Uncheck it. Hit finished. And cleaned everything up except for right down here. I missed this one. So this is a BKF. So I'm just going to copy another centroid thing here and bring it down here. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily BKF, but I can click on this one, go into my properties dialog, and I can make it a BKF. Hit tab. So now that centroid's object data is BKF, just like the soil type. So that this map, this whole display manager and using this map, you can see how very handy that comes in to figuring out what's what and making sure you keep things straight. I think at this point I'm in good shape. Let me try this one more time. Create missing centroids. No. And I'm in good shape.